Hello, this is Karen Elizabeth of KarenElizabeth.com, and today we're talking about number 8 of the 10 things that you must give up in order to move forward. Number 8 is giving up making excuses rather than decisions.
You know, most long-term failures are the outcome of people who make excuses rather than decisions. And failures long-term are really things left undone for too long. And we need to give up making excuses for the things that are happening that we just have not taken control of in our life. You know, I've addressed several things here. I've addressed the fact that we have control. I've addressed that we have a choice. I've addressed that we must love ourselves. And these are the things that it takes in order to really live the possibility lifestyle. And I'm sharing this with you because this is something that if you get this down and you understand it, I'm giving you the secrets to success in life. In order to give up the certain things, I shouldn't say in order, but as you give up certain things in life, you replace them with other things. So as you give up making excuses, you will begin to implement the power that you have to make decisions. When I had an opportunity to use and create this audio series for you, I had a reason why I wanted to do it. And that was my why. That was my goal. I love to inspire you. I love to help you. I love to empower you. I love to strategically give you secrets, give you what it takes I think you're ready for. And if I made an excuse to say, to do something else instead, really it was just because I didn't have the passion for it. But I did have the passion for this. So many times we are making excuses rather than decisions because the choices that we made in life, or the choices that have been put upon us because we have allowed other people to determine what we will do with our life, have brought us to that place. You see? So long-term failures are generally due to the fact that you have allowed others to tell you who you are and to determine what you do in your life. If you're a young person, I encourage you to be open-minded about what is possible in life, but to discipline yourself to be a learner, to discipline yourself to love yourself, to look to those people who have what you want, who are going where you want to go. Do not look to those people who are lazy, who are irresponsible, who are making excuses, right? Who have the need to be right, who are allowing their lives to be controlled by the opinions of others, who do have shame over past failures, who are indecisive, who are procrastinating, who are choosing to do nothing. These are not the people you want to listen to. Who do you listen to? Long-term failures are the outcome of people making excuses because the things that they have in their life, the relationships, the work life, right down to the vehicle they're driving, have all been determined by someone else besides you. Having control over your life means that you will not have to worry about making excuses. If you determine in your life that you will set your goals, that you will move forward towards those goals, anything that happens in your life will only be temporary. Even circumstances, because, not everybody's circumstances are perfect. But when you have the end goal in mind, what they call it is the chief aim, things along the way will come and go. Circumstances will come, but circumstances will change. And as long as you have a passion and a big enough why in your life for doing something, you will keep heading towards that big aim, that great aim. And the circumstances along the way will change and differ, and you will not have to regret. You will not have to make excuses for your decisions, because your decision is not based on a very short-term situation. Your decisions are based on your long-term goal. And you could always look to that aim, that chief aim. And I'm talking about the chief aim being the kind of person that you want to be remembered by as. I'm not talking about, I want a car, next week. That's not really a long-term decision, mostly because cars break down within, 10 years. That's not going to be a long-term regret. Unless, of course, you buy a car and you keep it for 20 years. But you know what? That's pretty long-term. You've had that car a long time. So that's a good thing. It lasted you so long. But most importantly, we just want to remember that there's the reason we make excuses is because we don't feel like we have control over our life. And when we don't feel that we have control over our life, we will use the opinions of others to tell us what we should do. And then it will just culminate into something more long-term. A good example are people who are basically controlled by their parents. I have heard of some families that, in their desire to pacify someone, they will just do what the person says to do rather than argue or complain or stick up for themselves. This is a very sad state of affairs, because what you're doing is you're creating an attitude where down the road you're going to regret, and you're going to hold a grudge and blame that person for your life and for what happened in your life. This is a very, very poor way of living. We don't want that. You don't want that. I encourage you to take control of your own life, to decide today to take charge of your goals, to take charge of the decisions you make, be responsible for them, and know that you may make a decision that isn't right. But instead of looking at it as something that isn't right, you look at it as one way that it doesn't work. You see, a true person who truly loves another person does not judge them, but encourages them to do what's right. Now, maybe it requires you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, "You stupid idiot, come on, you should have known better." Now, I don't know the way you need to talk to yourself, because sometimes guys might do that or girls might do that, because they just know, they're kind of goofing around, but the nature of their personality to act in such a way that it is not harmful towards themselves, but it's the way that they play and just act towards themselves. And it doesn't have to be where you're like, "Oh, poor you, everything bad happens to you," and whatever. That's not the way to be either. You're just firm towards yourself, but you're also direct and loving. You see, you have to set up some guidelines. Well, what does it look like for me to love myself? I would encourage you, if you want to keep from having to make excuses rather than make decisions that you will regret, that you know what it is in life that is most important to you and decide that that is the way you will live. Now, if pacifying a parent will make you feel better and you will not go into regret down the road, then do it. You know, if you're the kind of person that's very giving and you love your parents and you would want your children to treat you the same way, then do it. But if you're doing something with an attitude of you're pacifying and you're not really loving because you want to, but you're loving because you feel an obligation to do it, because if you don't, they're going to confront you and tell you they don't, why don't you love me, or all that crap. That's not right. Relationships with others should be based on honesty, on love, integrity, respect, on giving and caring without judgment, on forgiveness. These are the qualities of a good relationship. A parent who pushes you or presses you beyond your really true desire is what do they call that? Families who have difficulties. What is that term? I believe they call it like dysfunctional. Okay? When you have dysfunction in a family, which many families do, you need to make some choices as to how you're going to be with those people. I have been known in my family for being a little different because I have visions and dreams, I guess. I have certain standards. I have certain beliefs about myself. I have this pride or this vanity or whatever it is that my family doesn't get. But I'm also, I don't like certain things that they do. I don't like their standards. I personally don't agree with the way that they do certain things or the way that they act towards others. And, that's just my thing. So I've chosen to be and to hang around with and get to know people who are more like-minded, like me. And those are my friends, and those are the people that I love and adore and want to be with. Now, it doesn't mean that I dislike my family. It just means that I don't have to hang around with my family. I'm an adult. I can choose to be where I want to be, and I spend time with my family in smaller doses so that it doesn't affect me and reignite or I receive conditioning from them that may not be, what is authentically me. Because I'm one of 7 children, and so with older siblings, they kind of want to tell you what you should do. So, I just needed to just be on my own and to make some decisions for myself and not see myself as a victim, because even some of them would be like, oh, poor you. You had, 5 brothers and they were always doing that and you just stayed in your room. Oh, poor you. And I could make it look like, yeah, I was a victim. I didn't get any attention. I didn't get any of this. I didn't get any of that, and become a victim. You see, conditioning, even when a person thinks that they're doing something good, may not be good. So you need to really look and say what you want for your life. I would encourage you to read a book to identifying the character and the qualities of a good person, one person who is honorable and respectable. And so with that in mind, let's today stop and we are no longer going to, let's just give up, I should say, making excuses rather than decisions. And you will see that in that very choice, and remember what I told you early on about speaking it out of your mouth. With each one of these statements, each one of these things I'm giving you, I would encourage you to make a statement, an affirmation for yourself. For instance, in this one, I will no longer make excuses. I make decisions. And let that be an affirmation for you. Okay, this is Karen Elizabeth of KarenElizabeth.com, and tomorrow we are going to be talking about letting go of overlooking the positive points in your life. See you tomorrow.